Francisco Zoo to study our primate, the squirrel monkey, also known as Cimeri or death's head monkey. The size of our species is about 270 millimeters to 320 millimeters. Their weights between the sexes differ, with females' weight starts at 0.6 kilos and goes to 0.9 kilos. The males start at 0.6 kilos and go up to 1.25 kilos. The classification of our species is suborder Haplorini, infraorder Anthropology. The family groups are called troops and are made up of an average of 40 to 50 individuals, but can reach as large as 500. The individuals that make up these groups are pregnant females, females with young, adult males, and groups of young. The lifespan of the squirrel monkey is about 15 years in the wild and can live up to as long as 20 years in captivity. Their conservation status is at least concern, meaning that they have no immediate threat of going extinct and the population is very stable over all areas that they exist. Location where they exist is Central and Northern South America in countries such as Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. This is what our monkey looks like. As you can see, it has a very white face and white ears. The majority of their heads and shoulders and their chest are grayish color, but as you can see, their arms and legs take on an orangish yellow, and their tails have a distinct black tip. They're omnivores, meaning they eat a wide variety of foods, such as fruits, flowers, buds, nuts, eggs, lizards, and other small vertebrates. The predators include large birds of prey and snakes, meaning that they don't spend much time in the canopies or on the ground. Humans also are a major predator because of hunting. Other threats include deforestation and loss of habitat, hunting, and the exotic pet trade. Unfortunately for the squirrel monkeys, they are very smart and very affectionate, meaning they do make good pets and are often popular with wealthier people. Some conservation that is already taking place is government and nonprofit organizations have bought up land in protective areas to make sure that there are places for the squirrel monkeys to exist in peace and in their natural environment. To improve the conservation of the squirrel monkeys is to create a tourism sector where people are able to go see the squirrel monkeys in their natural protected habitat, and the money generated from the tourism will go towards further conservation and protection of the animal.
Hi, I'm Chelsea and I'm going to be doing the part about natural habitat. Okay, so in their natural habitat, squirrel monkeys are usually found to be in South America due to the fact that there's dense tropical rainforests they prefer to live in. They also prefer to live in areas that are near streams or any other water source, which is thought to be more for safety. Squirrel monkeys usually live in the middle level of the forest canopy due to the fact that there's birds at the top of the canopy and also snakes at the bottom of the canopy. They only travel up or down if there are any real danger. So now I'm going to be talking about the wild behaviors in squirrel monkeys. Okay, so in the wild, the common squirrel monkey have more intra-competition due to the fact that the habitat provides an abundance of fruit. So during the nighttime, squirrel monkeys tend to sleep together, but during the day they break up into groups. In these groups, like Spencer said, squirrel monkeys are usually in troops, and together they become very protective over their food. Squirrel monkeys use a variety of noises to communicate, usually signal to other squirrel monkeys that they're in danger or if they feel threatened.
This is Jasenia, and I'm going to be talking about the natural habitat versus the captive habitat. So we went to the San Francisco Zoo to do a project, and the San Francisco environment is a lot different than the environment that you would normally find a squirrel monkey, which is like in the tropics. As you can tell here in the zoo, it's really foggy in the background, and it's like 60 degrees outside when we went. And so that's usually like the approximate temperature that it's always at. And then, yeah, so you can see like the fog. In the tropics, there would not be any fog. It'd be nice and sunny. And then also the enclosed environment, it was about 25 feet wide and about 35 feet tall. It was like a 2-story building, so we were able to go on some stairs and be able to look at them from the top as well. And you can tell that there's a lot of like tree branches here. These are like natural tree branches, but they also added other climbing structures that they could use. For example, they had like these little ramps made out of steel. You would not find those in the trees in the tropics. And then also this climbing structure up here, we saw them running along here as well. These are also made out of steel. They have some of these, they remind me of like hammocks. They're like little enclosures that are made probably from like really like tough yarn. That's what it looked like. And then as you can tell, it's like a really small space. When we went, there was only 8 monkeys in there, as opposed to what Spencer was talking about, that they could be in groups of up to 500 monkeys. There was only 8 monkeys in here, and that's due to the size. Like, it's a lot more enclosed than you would find out in the tropics. So like how I talked about earlier, the weather is like the main difference between the captive and the regular where they actually live. Here, like I mentioned earlier, it's 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It's also like really cold and foggy. Where they usually are from, in the tropics, it's a lot more hot and humid. So that's the main difference that we noticed when we went to the San Francisco Zoo. And then another thing that we noticed was how they have a mixture of tropical plants and also just like territorial plants that we can find here. For example, this plant is like the only tropical plant that we could find in there. Everything else, like the trees from the back, those are the local trees. And we also have the eucalyptus plant, and that's like native to Australia. There's no squirrel monkeys in Australia, so I don't know why they would put that in front of the squirrel monkey cage, but I don't know. And then another thing is that here, you can see these 2 boxes. This is where the monkeys get the food from. We noticed when we got there that they were all around this area, and we didn't know what was in there. But luckily, a zookeeper came in, and we were able to ask why they all surrounded them. And she said that this is like their main source of food. This is where they go to. They know that this box equals food. And also right here, you can see the door. It's a little hidden where the rock is. But when the zookeeper comes in, the squirrel monkeys just all go. Like they know that human equals food. So whenever they see that door open up, they automatically just go because they know that they're gonna get fed. And now I'm going to talk about some behavioral differences between the wild and also captive. So the main thing we noticed was how they get the food. In the wild, they don't know what means food. Here, like I said, they know box equals food. They know human equals food. In the wild, they have to go and actually go and search where they're going to get their food from. And also something else we noticed was that they are eating celery. I've never been to the tropics, but I know that there is no celery available in the tropics. You can see this monkey right here. He's eating his nice piece of celery. This monkey as well. Another behavioral thing we noticed was they don't like sharing a lot. Like whenever the zookeeper came out, it was kind of like every man for themselves. Like somebody would get the food and they'd run up. The other person, like they're not together at all. I know that originally the groups were supposed to be 500. If I were to see all these monkeys in a group of 500, they'd be super spread out. They would not be together. Just because of what we saw at the zoo, that was the main issue that we had. In the wild, since they are such a big group, they kind of all share and like they're together more of the time. But here at the zoo, we noticed that most of them were all doing their own thing. One of them would be up, like climbing. Another one would be taking a nap. And here in these little boxes, they also used as like napping areas. And we never saw, the only time we saw the monkeys together was for feeding time. That's the only time they were together inside of the box, just to get the food. But any other time, they were just all kind of doing their own thing.